we've got Sid from Vista, and he's going to talk a little bit about how they're using CockroachDB. So if we can get Sid on.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Good. Great job with the demo here. It actually kind of shows one of the reasons why we picked Prisma. So.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah. So I can get into that in a bit.
Yeah, that's great. Do you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself first? Let everyone know who you are.
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, I'm Sid. I'm the co-founder and CTO at Vista, and we're a managed platform for B2B SaaS companies to easily enable user permissions or RBAC on their platform. So I have a few slides. I think there we go. Cool. So I can just kind of walk through what we do, and then I can talk about why we picked Cockroach and Prisma. So what are user permissions? So user permissions consists of both feature access, where a customer might have access to a specific subset of features, depending on a plan that they're under or a contract they've signed, as well as data access, which is limiting access to data depending on their role or who they are in the company. So ultimately, we help answer the question, given user X, can they perform action Y on object or feature Z? So this is something every B2B SaaS company needs as they begin to sell upmarket. Not everyone can be an admin and just go and do anything. So that you end up actually having to rebuild this many different times because your product evolves. It gets more complex. You add new lines of business. You split services. So your architecture also gets more complex. So turns out this has to be rebuilt 6-7 times, which is pretty much every year. And ultimately, everyone has this, so it's not really a competitive differentiator. So why would you spend time building this yourself over and over when you can instead work on more competitive features that move the needle? So that being said, we aim to provide an end-to-end solution with everything you need as you scale, from sidecar caches to testing frameworks, version control, config that can be checked in and tracked, all in a centralized location to manage feature and data access for your customers. So that's all great. And we run a managed service. So you use our API to grant and check permissions. And typically permissions checks are on the critical path. So they're done for most requests, which means that our responses need to be very quick, and our services need to be highly available everywhere our customer is as well. So given the nature of that problem, high availability anywhere, naturally you start thinking about where you want to keep your state and how you're going to shard it, what kind of replicas, how you're going to tune them. And so this kind of implies maintaining a cluster of databases. So starting out from that requirement, CockroachDB made a lot of sense. We can easily spin up nodes in any region, which allows us to be as flexible as our customers are, as well as co-locate data closer to them. So that helps for performance. Each cluster is also highly available within a region. So, and we can't have downtime, although we do offer a self-hosted cache to kind of de-risk against both availability and latency. Strongly consistent. So when access is revoked for a user, that revocation has to propagate everywhere. Otherwise, you risk leaking sensitive information for that window of time. So in other words, that problem is known as the new enemy problem. So of course, this comes at a cost in terms of latency, but at least for our problem, we need quick reads. Writes, or in other words, when permissions change, tend to happen pretty infrequently. So we don't necessarily have the same latency requirements there. And of course, it comes with all the nice bells and whistles too. So they deeply integrate with GCP, which we're on as well, consolidates all our billing, integrates with Datadog, Prisma, and so on. So it's been a pretty great choice there. So all that being said, the question is, how do you operate and maintain such a database? So I come from a cloud infrastructure background where patterns like config as code are becoming more and more common. And you can kind of see that with tools like Terraform or Kubernetes. So after taking a look at different solutions for an ORM, Prisma was clearly the clear choice there. So why would you define your schema? And by that, I mean, you have your stack of migrations as a series of changes when you already have a change management system. So why would you do that again? So why do it imperatively when you can just do it declaratively and then just check the plan? So that's been really nice. And it's also been nice that once you have that schema defined, you can auto-generate type-safe models, which eliminates any opportunities for drift between your models that are in code and then also your database schema. So generating the models, running the migrations, piece of cake. You just define your end state, and you probably want a human to verify. So you just check the generated migration plan, and you're good to go. So this pattern has been a source of inspiration for us too. So we also enable defining your permissions and model as a config. And so it's fantastic to see a deeper level of collaboration going on between you guys. Is Saban still here? I think you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I was just saying, thanks so much for going through that. That's super cool. And I just had a quick question. So the integration you have with Prisma, has that been pretty smooth so far? How's that been? And are there any specific features that you've really enjoyed about that?
Oh yeah. So before we started with Cockroach, we were on Postgres. And so we were going to migrate to Cockroach, but we were trying to figure out what to use, So I think that example with the demo that both of you guys gave before really highlighted how easy it is to switch from one type of storage to another. And, we do support multiple different types of storage. So in that way, Prisma has been really nice. And just in terms of maintenance, the way, you declaratively kind of declare all your models in that schema file, just generate, all your models from there. That's been really nice as well.
Awesome. Yeah, great. And then looking in the chat, see if there's any questions, but I don't think I see any regarding this. Let's see. I see Mr. Bill Shalon. Is Prisma work on 32-bit OS? To be honest, I'm not actually sure. That's a great question. We actually have in our documentation, we have a section where we show the different operating systems we support and different databases we support. So I definitely encourage you to check there. That'll be within the docs section. And then there should be a supported databases section there, and you should be able to find information on that. But yeah, thanks so much, Sid, for coming on. That was really awesome. It was great to be able to talk to you and get to know you a bit.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.